Femininity doesn't mean being weak. It doesn't mean getting run over by the people in your life. It simply means approaching life in a nurturing way. And there's nothing nurturing about being passive. It's simply... and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and I run the blog called Mrs. Midwest. I enjoy blogging about women's heart and mind issues as well as things related to character growth, femininity, relationships, and of course some wonderful homemaking tips. At the time of recording this video, we have passed 5,000 subscribers and I just want to give a hearty thank you to all of you. I also have to add, the countries you guys are from, it blew me away. You know, we have people from every single continent watching these videos. I don't give a congratulations to myself for any of this. All of this is because of you guys. It is because of the viewers like you who encourage me, motivate me, and energize me to put out this content, and you're finding it and sharing it, and you guys have just been so wonderful. So I would encourage you to continue doing all of those things and supporting one another as we all grow together in this YouTube journey. Okay, so let's dive into the meat of this video. Today's topic is cultivating femininity in our relationships. So when figuring out what I was going to talk about today, I decided to focus on all relationships. How can we cultivate femininity in all relationships? I know that not all of you are in romantic relationships, so I wanted to do this more around every single relationship you're in. This information will apply to that. They will apply to friendships, to parent-child relationships, to even romantic relationships as well. So cultivating femininity, what does that look like? What does it mean to be feminine in a relationship? And how can we nurture our femininity in relationships? You know, I think to answer this, we need to return back to the definition I've been using to describe femininity. And it's all about nurturing, beautifying, and creating. As you know, I like to be very practical on this channel. I like to give very practical ideas that we can begin to apply immediately to improve our lives. So today I'm going to be giving you 5 practical ways that you can be feminine in relationships starting today. The first area where you can cultivate femininity in relationships is about communication and listening. That feminine spirit is naturally very in tune and connected with social interaction. So in the area of communication, focus on nurturing, which is a feminine trait. Focus on nurturing through the way you listen to people. You know, don't just listen with like a blank face, you know, or don't just talk about yourself the whole time. Actively listen to the people in your lives and ask questions. I always ask questions to the people I'm talking to my husband, and I actively remember those answers. It's important that we communicate that care and that tending, nurturing love to those around us in relationships, and communication and listening is just one of those ways. Focus on those questions. Focus on communicating through your body language that you are listening to that person and that you genuinely care. There is nothing worse than trying to tell a story to somebody whose like eyes are like half closed, or they're looking all around the room, or they're looking at their phone. You know, when you give somebody your undivided attention, you are nurturing their soul. You know, I meet so many small children who just want your attention. That's all they want. And I truly feel adults are no different. I feel that adults also want undivided attention. And some people can be too needy. They might want that undivided attention 24/7. That's wrong. But if someone just wants your undivided attention for 15 minutes while they tell a story, give that to them. Nurture their soul. Show them that they're valuable. Show them that they're worthy of that attention, and you will be nurturing your own femininity because you're nurturing another human soul. That needs to go both ways in communication. So that's why I'm pairing communication with listening, because I feel like we need to remember that we can't just listen either. We can't just always be the person listening. We also need to be in relationship with people who listen to us and communicate with us and give us the room to tell stories and to talk about our lives as well, because that nurtures our soul and prepares us to have more energy to nurture others. And it's just this never-ending cycle where we need to be filled up so we can pour into others and vice versa, you know? So listening and communication go together. The second way we can cultivate femininity in relationships is through honesty. You might assume when I talk about nurturing a relationship that I'm talking about fluffing up somebody and making them feel good and being super sweet and syrupy to people. But that is not true. I think that to truly nurture something, you need to keep it healthy. And a relationship built on fluffing someone up or being dishonest is not healthy. Dishonest relationships are not healthy. So a way that you can cultivate that nurturing spirit is learning to be confident in your honesty. The truth is, a healthy relationship comes with a healthy dose of honesty. It's not just about fluffing someone up and making them feel good. Being feminine doesn't mean constantly parroting the phrase, "Oh, whatever you want, sweetheart," or "Oh, I'm fine with that," if you're not. Being a feminine means nurturing a relationship, keeping it healthy, and that means you need to be aware of your needs and expressing those needs in an honest way. I used to be a very large people pleaser in my relationships, and I just wanted to please the guy I was with or the friend I was with. But then I realized those relationships quickly turned very poisonous and toxic and unhealthy because one person held all the power and I was bowing down to them. So when I decided to nurture my relationships and be healthier, I had to be more courageous in my honesty and share with somebody what I needed out of a relationship, what restaurant I actually did want to go to, and I couldn't expect people to read my mind. You know, part of that listening, communication, and honesty, it all goes together. You cannot expect someone to read your mind. You cannot expect them to always remember your favorite things. You need to be honest. You need to be honest when something bothers you, and you need to be honest about your needs. But this ties into my next point, which is cultivating a femininity in relationships means including a heavy dose of gentleness into our relationship. So as we communicate our needs, our desires, our wishes, honestly, we can cloak it in the spirit of gentleness. And through that gentleness, we will be able to express ourselves in a calm and gentle way, and that will actually propel us forward to actually get what we need and eat more than if we were just kind of bitchy. If you can cloak your honesty in gentleness, you would be shocked at the things that would change in your life. Gentleness is a way to communicate your needs, desires, and wants to your partner or to a friend without causing offense to that person. And you know, some people get offended by anything, so that's their issue. But if we do our part to present something gently, a lot more can be accomplished. You know, I noticed the difference between when I bring something up with my husband gently and when I bring it up aggressively. The gentle conversation always yields more results than the aggressive one, and the aggressive one tends to hurt the person I'm with. So if you're feeling extremely emotional about something and you just want to go be honest, I would encourage you to take a step back and wait for your emotions to simmer down, so then you can go approach them with a gentle spirit. 3, 4, what was it? My fourth point is being feminine does not mean being passive. I think a lot of people are worried about being perceived as feminine because they don't want to be passive. They don't want to get run all over in their relationships, and they don't want to be abused or hurt by others because they're passive. You know, and I would encourage you to absolutely not be passive in your relationships, because again, as I said, true femininity is about nurturing things, and a passive attitude to life will only lead to unhealthy connections and relationships. As you cultivate femininity in your relationships, to not be passive, to stand up for yourself, to not be a people pleaser, and to not let people take advantage of you or abuse you or hurt you. Femininity doesn't mean being weak. It doesn't mean getting run over by the people in your life. It simply means approaching life in a nurturing way. And there's nothing nurturing about being passive. It simply enables bad behavior and stops you from achieving things in life. It is a false belief that in order to be feminine, you need to please everyone else and take on their burdens. It is next to impossible to thrive as a feminine woman in an environment where you're being abused or hurt or exposed to violence even. And I would encourage you, if you are in that situation, to know that you can still be strong in your femininity and seek out a true nurturing environment. So always putting other people first, always being a people pleaser is not feminine. It is unhealthy. A lot of women don't take time for themselves. They put their children before themselves. They put everything before themselves. And that's not healthy. That's not true femininity in relationships. We need to be honest with people and to be strong and courageous in the fact that we have needs too, and we're valuable, and those needs matter. If you need an extra 20 minutes in the morning to do your hair and makeup, communicate that with your family, and don't be passive. Stand up for your needs. You know, we don't need to be aggressive. We don't need to be rude. We don't need to be intense. But we don't have to be the opposite of that either. You guys always know I'm all about balance. So remain balanced and don't be passive. Search for a way to communicate your needs in a courageous manner that isn't aggressive. My fifth and final point is to approach relationships with a tender and vulnerable spirit. I know a lot of you, just like me, have been hurt in relationships, and it can often be very difficult to approach new relationships with an open spirit and heart. But if we want to truly nurture a healthy relationship, we need to make sure that we're bringing as much of ourselves to the relationship as we expect the other person to bring. It's important to be tender with ourselves in that journey of healing, but to always remember that these people that you're in relationship with, you know, they want to get to know you often. You know, if you're in a relationship with an abusive person who treats you terribly, like, get rid of that. But if you're with someone who is a good person, a healthy person who just wants to get to know you better, nurture that relationship by being vulnerable and sharing parts of yourself. Learn to share stories about your life. You know, that was really hard for me. I had a long time in my life where I wanted to be very perfect. You know, I struggled with showing the weak sides of myself. I didn't want to ever be embarrassed in front of others. And I had to break through that in my relationships and begin to share a vulnerable side of me. And through that practice, I was able to nurture those relationships in a deeper way and cultivate my own femininity. Feminine women aren't perfect. We're not these perfect princesses that have to look elegant and classy 24/7. You know, we have this humanity that we can share with people, you know, with good, safe people, obviously. So as you tend to your relationships, approach them with a tender spirit that is ready to be vulnerable. You know, oftentimes too, we can cultivate a lot of vulnerability in other people as we share our own stories, as we share our testimonies, and as we share our struggles with people around us. Through that, we can create stronger social fabric and communities that will bless us and nurture our own lives as well. I have seen a person in my life who has been very hurt by people in the past approach new relationships expecting those people to hurt her. And because of that, she's always keeping people at arm's length and often being very rude or sarcastic to them in a sense of, I'll reject you before you can reject me. And because of that, those relationships never have the chance to fully come to fruition, and they're never fully nurtured. So I would encourage you, if you approach relationships expecting people to hurt you and you're constantly pushing them away, I would encourage you to get the help you need to heal in that area of your life so that you can approach relationships in a vulnerable way and make genuine connections that are strong and built upon true vulnerability and truth about your life and that are filled with silly fun times and to have people around you who know your struggles and who can pray for you and love you and help you through life. So as you continue to build your femininity in relationships, remember to approach them with a tender and vulnerable spirit. So in total, our 5 areas are communication and listening, gentleness, honesty, avoiding passivity, and finally, a tender and vulnerable spirit. I am not a guru about all of this. I'm not the end all be all, but these are just some things that I think are very important. They can be a starting place. You know, I'm sure there are many other ways to be feminine in relationships. And as we continue to build this channel, we will talk about even more. You know, we only have more videos to create. We only have more discussions to have. So we are not finished with these topics, but I appreciate you for tuning into this video. Thank you so much for watching. I am so happy you are here. If you liked the video, please click the like button. It really helps grow our channel. Continue sharing these videos with people in your life who you think might enjoy them. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Please check out my written blog, and if you want to see what I do on a day-to-day basis, check out my Instagram story because I always post it there. I hope you have a blessed and feminine day.